guys, welcome to another episode of the SoFLo Sports Show, episode 131. Your host, 305 Sports Babe, co-host Lou from Dade. Hoping you guys had a wonderful Christmas, happy holidays, and looking forward to starting 2026 this week.
Yep, just 2 days left to the new year. So, 2026 is here. This year seems like it flew by. A lot of good things, a lot of bad things, but hopefully a lot more good things to come.
Definitely, guys. So coming off the Dolphins win, many will say unexpected. The Bucs obviously were playing for a lot more than the Dolphins. Some will also say that the Dolphins maybe should have lost that game for a better draft pick, but all in all, Ewers got his first win as an NFL QB. So congratulations to Quinn on that.
Yeah, Quinn looked great. And to your point, yes, the Dolphins were had a chance, had they lost the game, to be at 9, but they ended up dropping to 11. And of course, they lose the tiebreakers to teams ahead of them, like now the Bucs and the Bengals, who beat them. So they would have had a more favorable path to a top 10 draft pick. But at this point, the rookies out there playing, obviously the players are still out there trying to be professional and trying to get the job done. So they're still fighting, and then the Dolphins are trying to finish out the year on a positive note.
Speaking of, well, I guess non-positive things, let's just get into it, guys. Today we found out that our beloved Richmond Webb is not a finalist for this year's 2025-2026 induction into Canton as a Pro Football Hall of Famer. Unfortunately, he just did not make the cut, and it's very discouraging. Richmond, like the true gentleman he is, went on social media and thanked everybody and said, guys, it's okay. And here we are doing the battle cry. No, Richmond, pitchfork stuff Canton. And yet he still stays so humble and classy. But we are all hurting for Richmond because we know we know that he belongs in Canton with obviously Bruce Smith. This year, the finals, it's a strong class. It's so hard because the more modern age, there's so many great eligible players, and Richmond obviously is more than deserving to be there. But on the retrospect, it's very, very competitive. So unfortunately, Richmond will not be making his way to Canton as a bust in August, but he is forever our Pro Football Hall of Famer.
Yep, he's got one more year of eligibility. There you see the picture up that he was a Hall of Fame semifinalist for a second consecutive year, so that's a big deal. The last 25, and then they had to take that 25 to the final 15 as a finalist. And here is those 15 that got selected. You got some huge names in there, guys for the first time like Drew Brees. You got Larry Fitzgerald, Eli Manning's in there.
I like Adam Vinatieri. He's one of my favorite players ever. Just a great, great kicker. Obviously, many, many years with the New England Patriots. We saw him, unfortunately, for many years, and gave us a few good gut punches here and there.
But you got a guy that's going to go in likely in Brees first ballot, and then you got some, big time receivers: Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne. And then you got a couple guys from the U, Reggie Wayne, Frank Gore from the U is in there as well. So, this is a star-studded class. All 15 finalists are very deserving, but obviously we're biased and we want Richmond Webb to be among those guys. So, hey, there's still one more year left where we can get our hopes up to getting him in, and we're going to try and do that as much as we can.
We're going to go out fighting like crazy for that last year.
Yeah, this year we cheered. We had things in Buffalo. Danny Johnson and TPP had a big thing with him in Charlotte, where he actually showed up in Charlotte. A lot of people were advocating for him there. In Pittsburgh, we had a sign. We tried to get that sign on Monday Night Football. Weren't successful, but everywhere we went, all stops. In Atlanta, we also went to the College Football Hall of Fame, and we had some Richmond Webb stickers that we showed up there. Bobby's. I see Bobby here. You want to check into the chat? Bobby was in Charlotte with us. No doubt, Richmond got screwed again. Absolutely. And Brent says that Eli's there. He's won a couple Super Bowls, but there's some guys. It's a deserving class, no doubt. But hopefully, Richmond, gets his due process next year, and hopefully he can be in the finalists next year.
Definitely. Sammy also in the house. Sammy, I hope you're enjoying your time here. Sammy will not be having a show tonight. Most people are taking a break from the holidays. However, we're still chugging. But I hope you're enjoying vacation because the weather is perfect here. So hopefully you're having a wonderful time. Kirk, very happy with Quinn. And then, of course, our pal. Oh, hold on. There's so many people here. 706 Fins fan. Happy New Year, guys. Let's go Canes.
In the house.
Spencer, I think the Dolphins did incredible. The rookie quarterback from Texas, Quinn Ewers. Abso-freaking-lutely. Dennis, our pal who we met in Pittsburgh. Win for the Jags.
Big win for the Jags. The Jags are in the hunt for the #1 seed. I mean, it's been a crazy, crazy NFL season.
And then Mike from the West Coast. Happy holidays, guys. So thank you all for joining us tonight, for being in the chat on the eve of New Year's Eve.
Yep.
We're excited to come to you live from Miami, where it is a cold front. Yes, there is a cold front. It is currently 68 degrees. And I say that laughingly because I know our friends, probably Russ. Is Russ in the chat? Russ just joined us from cold Philadelphia. I say 68 degrees, chilly, but I can't even imagine what you guys have, including the rest of the country, because cold front is definitely pushing through the U.S.
Yep, no doubt. And yeah, so Russ is in here as well. And I'm going to pull one more comment. No, I can't see it here. But yeah, and Bobby, yeah, absolutely. The Jags keep on running, keep on winning. Jags, surprising. Nobody saw this coming as well. Shout out to Bobby and the Dive Bar coming up after us at 7 p.m. So definitely check them out. They're coming up. And yeah, so we're going to try as heck to get Richmond back on.
Cold front, 40 degrees, 27. I'm near feeling cold and windy. Yeah, guys, no, it is. Spencer, where are you coming from? Where is it going to be 27? I definitely don't want to be there, but I'm curious to know where it's going to be 27. And Rockin' Noel in the house. We will see Jeremy on Friday at the Winter Classic. We're going to have our Y mic here, at least, rocking it out, breaking it in. So we look forward to seeing you. Texas. Okay. All right. Texas.
I don't want to make it a movie point for you guys to be feeling bad for us, but it is supposed to get into the 50s down here in Miami. So we'll be bundling up down here as well. That for us is a cold front. So.
Bobby says Duval. I mean, I gotta say, it is pretty catchy. My family lives like maybe 40 minutes outside of Jacksonville, so the Duval is a catchy term. Heck yeah. Okay, yeah, so go ahead.
So if that wasn't, the Richard Webb news wasn't sombering enough, unfortunately, some more bad news for Dolphin fans before we close out this year and put it all to bed and hopefully start fresh in 2026. Today marks the 25th anniversary of the Dolphins' last playoff win, December 30th, year 2000, a 23-17 win against the Indianapolis Colts. Here you see Lamar Smith, who ran for over 200 yards in this game, getting into the end zone in overtime. This was a winner. You see Dave Wannstedt in the far distance putting, his hands up. This was before back then it was known as Pro Player Stadium. Orange seats. There was no roof, no canopy. This is a long, long time ago. I actually posted. I want to, put this post that I said 25 years ago, this last playoff win. The Dolphins by far had the longest streak. Detroit had the longest streak a couple of years ago, but they finally got off the schneid and won a playoff game. But, I wrote this in Twitter today. If you were born the year the Dolphins last won that playoff game, you're 25 years old now. If you got your restricted license, which down here in Florida is 15 years old, you are now 40 years old. If you were in your mid-20s, you are now in your 50s. If you were 50, now you're 75. And if you were 75 and you're still with us, you're now 100 years old the last time the Dolphins won a playoff game. So, this at some point has to come to an end. We're going to have to not just win one. We're going to have to win a couple. But I have a feeling it's going to be a big celebration when the Dolphins are able to win a game in, January when it counts.
More weather checks. Moondog, 56 in Vero Beach. That is perfect weather, and Vero Beach is amazing. Spencer from Texas says, good luck to your Florida Panthers. Yes, we take on the New York Rangers this Friday. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Sammy made his way north to Windermere, which is outside of Orlando, 48. Sammy, you're going to be seeing like 30s and frost, so hopefully you bundled up for that. Thanks, Lou, for making this.
Sorry, Brent. I just got to document the history here, man, and call it like I see it.
All right, so Bobby said you're making everyone feel old.
Sorry, Bobby.
I'm 46, so yeah, Brent, Lou's 48, so you're in the same boat as him. Feels like 100 years, feels like 1,000 years. I don't want to age myself. Sammy, you're 22. Lou definitely knows how to amp us up. Yeah,
it's crazy. Listen, appreciate this picture right here, because if you probably didn't. There was no iPhones back then. You couldn't even document. You'd probably have to go to Walgreens or CVS or Eckerd back then to develop photo film if you took a picture at this game, because there were no such things as camera phones. That's how freaking long it's been. So
Miami Mike is 55 years young. Fooled me. I thought you were 25.
Miami Mike, you're young, man.
So
it's
guys,
not you, it's the Dolphins.
I became a fan in 2009 to the Miami Dolphins, so I have never seen a playoff one, unfortunately. I've seen it for the Dolphins. I've seen it for the Heat. I've seen it for obviously other teams, the Panthers, but I've never.
Since that, the Marlins won in 2003. The Heat have won 3 titles, and the Panthers are on back-to-back streak. Yeah. So, every team in South Florida has won multiple championships since the Dolphins last won a playoff game. It's sad, but we'll see. But
Sammy's 22, but 51 shipping and handling. And then also 9/11 happened. How could we forget?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
do you remember who scored that touchdown, though?
That was Lamar Smith. Lamar Smith in the end zone. He had 200 yards in that game, and they ran him to the ground. I think he had 30 some carries in that game. So they needed every single one of them to win that game against the Colts. So.
All right, guys. So let's fast forward let's rewind back to Sunday. Sunday, the Miami Dolphins took on the Buccaneers. Bucs fans traveled well. They were all over social media. Some flew down, some drove down. But the Bucs fans were definitely here at the Hard Rock. We obviously were not. Those who don't know, we were away on vacation. So it was our first home game that we missed all season round, but we were watching the game in a different country. But we
international waters. We were on a cruise. Shout out to my parents. It was their 50th anniversary, so we're with them. We took a 3-day cruise, and so we watched the game on international waters.
We were in NASA. We were docked.
For half the trip we were docked. It left towards the end there. So, but we were able to still see it. We definitely made a point to pause our vacation and our good times, and my parents came out and watched it with us, so that was fun. As did my brother, my sister, my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, and the nephews and nieces. So that was cool. And we saw a very surprising win. I gotta say. Before
we get into that, so on the cruise was sold out. It was packed. There was like 6,500 people. It was Wonders of the Sea, so it's one of the larger cruise ships. And on Sunday, I found you to be very interesting because people were wearing their Sunday best and not for church. They were not all there, jerseys and shirts. So I don't know if you noticed, but the 3 most popular teams that I saw people wearing.
We discussed that. Yeah, go ahead.
We didn't. We haven't really talked. We just got home 24 hours ago, and we were busy today. We haven't even talked. We haven't even unpacked. Okay, so I saw Bears. Bears.
There was Bears. There were Bears, and how could you not?
They were not Bears.
No,
they were Bears fans.
There
was not Bears on our cruise.
Right.
There's Bear fans. The Bills fans, man. I saw a lot of Bills. Patriots and Eagles.
Yeah, and Bills. Unfortunately, there were some Bills fans there as well. But yes, we saw them all. Russ.
A few Dolphin fans. If you gave us
they were there watching the game with us, and they were cheering along with us as well. Again, the Dolphins, maybe didn't really need to win this game because it does affect the draft. But again, you have the rookie quarterback out there, which we're about to speak about in a second here, in Quinn Ewers, making his second ever start. His last start against the Bengals wasn't too bad, but he did have those 2 interceptions. One of them was not his fault. The Dolphins got demolished in that game. So you wanted to see him come out with some fight against a very hungry Buccaneers team that, as you mentioned, had to win the game in order to, salvage your playoff hopes. As of right now, they don't control their own destiny. With Atlanta surprising the Rams last night, that was
an interesting game. That went down to the wire.
Right, the Bucs now have to win and have to have the Saints beat the Falcons. If the Falcons win and the Bucs win, there's a 3-way tie in the NFC South, and by virtue of tiebreaker, the Carolina Panthers would win that division. So
the Paul's in the house.
Paul,
overseas
from across the pond.
Paul, it is midnight. You just stay up all the time for me. Paul, I love you so much. So hello from across the pond. Hope you had a lovely, lovely Christmas. And you are going to experience New Year's Eve and New Year's Day before us. So let me be the first to wish you a very happy 2026 since you're going to experience it 6 hours before us anyways.
Yep. And so, guys, we're going to also count down the top moments in South Florida sports in 2025. So stay tuned for that. And again, if you're watching this on X, please come over to YouTube. Be sure to like tonight's episode and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. We got some contradicting opinions here. So Brent, I don't know if I can pull it up there. Brent says that we're not going to sell him on Quinn Ewers. And then Moondog says that Ewers look good. So, the jury's, I guess, still out. He didn't overwhelm you with the stats, kind of a managing situation, a game manager situation like Tua was doing, minus the interceptions. He was 14 out of 22 for 175 yards. He did have his 2 touchdowns, his first 2 touchdowns of his career. One to Theo Weiss Jr., a 63-yarder.
I call him Weasel.
And then another one to Greg Dulcich. Dulcich has really come on here towards the end as tight end. Getting action from both tight ends in Dulcich and Waller. Waller not so much this past Sunday, but Dulcich has been a nice revelation for the Dolphins here and a nice target for Quinn Ewers.
So Brent and Moondog are both making their cases here. Brent says it's one game. I could see him saying that too. It's one game. And then Moondog said balanced offense.
It was. And the thing you got to like, he made a couple of good things that we saw about this. He had a nice throw out of his own end zone, which he had confidence to do so. And I think we were both, here he is making his pass. This is the pass right before he hits Theo Weiss Jr. Theo Weiss Jr., yes. Weasel. But yeah, no, look, he had poise out there. He looked good. He made a big throw out of his own end zone, which me and you looked at each other and said, oh my goodness, could you imagine that was Tua? He would have for sure thrown a pick six or taken a sack or, done something silly. And Quinn Ewers, out of his own end zone for a rookie in his second career start, had some poise out there. Here's
Kirk says Ewers did look good. Ewers did look poised in the pocket and ran for that first. I believe he was 5 on 7 on third downs.
Yes. No. The other aspect that obviously Tua was not able to do is he's able to extend plays with his legs. He's able to get outside the pocket, avoid sacks. Here's the touchdown pass to Weiss Jr. in the end zone, 63-yarder. This was a really nice pass where he checked down, he froze the cornerback and the safety also, and he was able to get that open pass to him. And so that was nice to see. And so overall, hold on, put this down for a second. We'll show it in a second. So, overall, a nice game. He bounced back from a bad start against the Bengals, not so much for him, but for the team, where he had 2 interceptions. One, again, not his fault, but to, stand in there and go up against a team who's hungry. That defense obviously, didn't want to go out there and let him do anything, much less throw 2 touchdowns on him. You got to really feel good about how he responded back and led 2 touchdown drives.
So let's go in the chat. We've got some interesting things going on here. Moondog says a year ago, Quinn was playing in the CFP, college football playoffs for Texas, so he's played in big games. Indeed, he has. Jeremy says a 7th rounder could save McDaniel's job. Spencer gives us a question. Do you think that Quinn Ewers is the next Dan Marino?
Whoa, hold on now.
In my dreams, yes.
Spencer, that's way too soon.
But
although,
it would be amazing.
I don't know if you saw it, but he did match Marino as the only Dolphin rookies to throw for 2 touchdowns and a half.
All right, so he has something there. Maybe Spencer has something from Texas.
He's in the same stat line for a half with Dan Marino. That's all I can say.
Jeremy says, but Quinn is much better than a 7th-round pick. Kirk says, nothing wrong with hoping and being positive with what we've seen so far. Kirk, I'm with you, man. You're Mr. Positive and you're Mr. Realistic. We would love for him to be the next Dan Marino, right? It would be amazing to be our franchise quarterback. It's just too early to tell.
No doubt.
Brian said he played a solid game. Russ says, all I'm going to say is quarterbacks get all the credit, but way too much of the blame. The way that they are roasting Allen and Hurts for that ugly game is amazing. How many teams would take either one? Sign me up for either one of them.
That's a great point. And, Russ, you're being biased there because that came against your Eagles, and they eked that game out, which, by the way, when we were on the cruise, I have to admit, not that I was rooting for the Bills. I can't say those words, but it would have been better at the time, I thought, for the Bills to have won that game because it would have made Week 18 against the Patriots mean something. As it turns out, the Patriots, the Bills can no longer win the division, but the Patriots are still fighting for the number 1 overall seed with the Broncos and with Dennis's Jacksonville Jaguars. So, this game's going to mean something. The Patriots are playing to win that game.
Drake May is for real.
Oh, beyond.
Sweet Paul goes and says, he played okay, but he still has to prove himself, but he will be our starter. Wow. So Sweet Paul says he will be our starter next season.
And I can get behind that. I think that's the way it's going. I think at this point, there's no way you can bring Tua back, just the way this thing's playing out. And so, I could see him definitely being the starter. I don't know if he's going to be a bridge starter, which means that, hey, you give him the chance to see what he's got until the next guy comes along. Or maybe they just say, look, let's see what we got with him for the entire year and write it out. So we'll see.
Moondog says, it's funny that you had 2 first-round quarterbacks watching a 7th-round rookie lead us to a victory.
Incredible. Yeah, both top 5 picks, too. Wilson, 2nd overall, and Tua, 5th overall. And again, we mentioned this on the show last week.
Yeah.
It's a real big indictment on Zach Wilson that they just
skipped over
bypassed him.
Yeah.
They went to the next guy, and reports are starting to come out that he lacked professionalism. He was not good in the locker room.
Too busy with moms. I mean, there was a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, that too. And South Beach, that doesn't play over well.
It's not South Beach. It's Boca.
Yeah,
South Beach is fine. South Beach, you have other problems in South Beach. It's Boca and Palm Beach.
Boca and Palm Beach are the MILF capitals of the world.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Brent, another good point here. You guys could write the script for us here. Remember, Quinn did have the same offensive line as Tua, so there's that. That's solid.
Yep.
Jeremy says, we won't be able to get him now, but imagine Mendoza madness here. I would love that. As you guys may or may not know, Fernando Mendoza went to Columbus High School. Columbus High School is just right down the road, literally about 20. It's in Miami. There's never been confirmation if Mendoza was a Dolphins fan, because you got to remember, even though he's from Miami, that doesn't mean you're a fan of the Dolphins. There's plenty of people here who live in Miami who bleed black and gold, Eagles, this and that. But I'm very curious to know, just straight off the bat, if Fernando Mendoza is even a Dolphins fan. But I'd love to get him here.
Yeah. Dennis says that. Dennis says that he needs the Dolphins' help to get the Jags up to the second seed. Yeah, we're going to try. We're going to try to shock the world in Foxborough on Sunday. So, we'll check that out. But yeah, Wilson definitely, was bypassed for a lot of things, and we will see how that goes. Kirk also says
they pass up Wilson because they need to see if they have a future with Quinn, because they know that Wilson's obviously not future. I would also look into Malik Willis as a competition.
Yeah, for the Packers. And then also as Brent mentioned, where's Brent? Brent mentioned the Raiders. Where is it? The Ravens and Lamar Jackson. How can I put this up? Yeah, Lamar Jackson. We'll get to that in a second, because what's going to happen on Sunday night between the Ravens and the Steelers could have a big say in a lot of what happens in Miami's future, not just for the quarterback, by the way. So we shall see.
I would love Lamar Jackson down here.
All right, so let's close out. Go back to that one picture you showed right there. Yep.
Got it.
So, yes, Quinn looked good out there, and the Dolphins' defense looked really good too, right? So Bradley Chubb closing in on Baker Mayfield here. Chubb finished with 2 sacks. Jason Marshall Jr., who was drafted last year late by the Dolphins out of Florida, and Ashton Davis, who was a free agent signing from the Jets at safety. Both of those players had interceptions for the Dolphins defense. So, look, the Dolphins D did their part. Dolphins offense did their part. I would say Mike McDaniel did everything to maybe survive the game. I don't want to say he went out to try to win it, but he survived it. Dolphins came out with a victory. And look, you got to feel good about it. Way to close out the year at home with a win, and hopefully build on it this upcoming week.
Definitely. All right, so let's look forward, meaning next week.
Well, not next week. Let's go talk about week 18.
Next week.
Yeah,
this week coming up. This week coming up.
Yeah.
This week the games start on Saturday. So you can say next week there's. So this game does not mean anything for the Dolphins, obviously, because we are not seeing late January, mid-January, really any of January football, meaning we're not going to the playoffs. However, we are playing the New England Patriots. We are going to, meaning the Dolphins, us are not making that trip, but the Dolphins are going to Gillette Stadium, where inevitably it will be cold.
Very cold.
So here, let's pull that up. So
sure,
okay, so you want to talk about the other games first? Go ahead.
Yeah, so before we get to our matchup, look, the NFL obviously is a king sport at this point, and they do a tremendous job, holding back the Week 18 schedule until they know the matchups.
TBGs.
Because, you do not want a team playing on Saturday and then another team playing the Sunday night game, and that outcome is ruled insignificant because the team won on Saturday. So they do a great job pairing up all these matchups, and I absolutely love it. I also absolutely love the fact that it's all rivals. It's all division rivals playing against each other. Because of that, you're going to have some major matchups, including Saturday is essentially playing for the NFC South between the Bucs and the Panthers. Of course, the Bucs need help even with a win, but that's for the division. The Seahawks 49ers later that night is for the number 1 overall seed. So the winner gets the number 1 seed. The loser drops to 4th or 5th. That's a huge deal. And then, some other games here to highlight. We mentioned Dennis's Jaguars fighting for the 2nd and possibly even the number 1 seed if everything goes their way. The Broncos playing the rival Chargers for the chance at the number 1 overall seed. If they win, they lock that up. And then the game that I am looking out here for, and I think this is a huge game, and it will have major implications either way for the Dolphins. And again, guys, if you're watching on X or Twitter, come over to YouTube, like tonight's episode, and subscribe to the channel. This game on Sunday Night Football between the Steelers and the Ravens in Pittsburgh, it's
Aaron Rodgers, Lamar Jackson.
boom or bust, right?
Wow.
Winner wins the AFC North. Loser is completely out of the playoffs.
2026.
But let's talk about the bigger scale and how this could impact the Dolphins.
Where's that game?
It is in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So how could this impact the Dolphins? Well, either way, it's going to have an impact. If the Baltimore Ravens were to lose, you have to think that John Harbaugh is, trying to get his way out of Baltimore, just because there's a lot of pressure on him. The fans are maybe wanting more of a repeat of what he did in his earlier years. So that could be it. And then it was mentioned by Brent earlier in the room, in the chat, Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson, seems to have problems getting, into the play or getting deep into the playoffs and winning the playoffs. So Lamar Jackson has been rumored to possibly be leaving, the Baltimore Ravens if he cannot have not just, win the division, win in the playoffs. Okay. And then on the flip side, we were in Pittsburgh. We saw that the Steelers fans have had it up to here with Mike Tomlin.
You read our local news?
Which I think is crazy. But the fact remains is that Mike Tomlin, even though he gets to the playoffs every year, well, guess what? If he loses this game, he wouldn't be in the playoffs for the first time in a long time. And even with getting to the playoffs, he seems to be an early exit every year. I think you got to go back to 2012, the last time he won a playoff game. So the Steelers fans have had it up to here, and this could be the breaking point. So if Mike Tomlin is let go, or if he decides to –
Well, Kirk says if one of these coaches could be our coach.
Absolutely.
There you go, Kirk.
And that's where I'm going with it. You could have either one of these coaches, Harbaugh or Tomlin,
I'm here for it.
Come to Miami if they do not win that game. And then also the quarterback, Lamar Jackson, could be out of Baltimore, and this would be a preferred destination point, being that he's from Miami, amongst other places.
Broward.
But you could potentially have the MVP,
Yeah.
the former MVP of the league, looking to change teams in the offseason if the Ravens do not win this game. So major, major implications from the Sunday night game.
So point of Lou's story is that here's the schedule. Here's your schedule for the rest of the week. On Wednesday, tomorrow, you're going to watch the Canes game. Thursday, you're going to watch all the other bowl games. Friday, you're going to watch the Winter Classic. Saturday and Sunday, do not even lift your butt off your couch because all you're doing is watching football. Hockey, there will be hockey going on, and there'll be basketball. In fact, the Heat have a game Saturday and Sunday, both home games. None of that matters right now. It is football, 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 and the Winter Classic. Got it? Perfect.
Yep. So let's preview this Dolphin game. So again, this game is
Can't see Ross unloading McDaniels. Sweet Paul doesn't see it.
Yeah, Paul, I got to say this. Look, Monday, this will be our last show, obviously, before the new year, and then before the Dolphins play the Pats. And then that Monday is known as Black Monday. It's actually a celebration for a lot of teams.
American holiday.
A lot of fan bases. It is a holiday down here for a lot of fan bases and teams. And Black Monday, you're going to have several coaches let go, including, in my opinion, as we just talked about, either Tomlin or Harbaugh. So if those guys are released from their duties on Monday and the Dolphins don't beat them to it, guess what? They're going to go somewhere else. I'll give you another one. The Bills, and Russ is in the room, the Bills lost to the Eagles 13-12. Josh Allen, the former MVP, only put up 12 points. McDermott, who had won 5 AFC titles in a row, first time he does not win the division, but even with those AFC East titles, where did he go with it? What did he do with it? Nothing. He fell short in the playoffs. So I know this may sound crazy, but the Bills at some point might look at McDermott. They're about to open up a brand new stadium next year. They may say, hey, we've gone as far as we can go with Sean McDermott as our coach. Let's look somewhere else. Let's mutually part ways. So if McDermott becomes available, you don't want him down here? I just feel that the Dolphins have gone more than enough of as far as they have with McDaniel. He's not the guy that could lead them to the next stage, in my opinion. And if they do not release him on Monday from his duties, they're going to miss out on other coaches that will become available.
Brent, your statement gave me the chilly willies. Can you imagine an A-Chan and Lamar together?
Oh,
that
goodness.
is like, right? Like, dude, sign me up. Cats play tonight. And Brad Marchand is getting honored for 1,000 points tonight.
Incredible. Nice.
Lamar Jackson is damaged goods.
Well,
I feel like
he's still young. He's still, can move with his legs. So, we'll see.
Moondog is going to watch the game at the Hideaway Bar. Rex John, one of our good friends.
Shout out to Rex. He's awesome. That's a great place.
We love the Hideaway. The old location was amazing, which was right across the street. The new location's just as great. Have a blast there. If we usually see at least one game with them a year. It just didn't work out this year, but you're gonna have a blast at the Hideaway Bar. They always have such a great crowd. The food is awesome. The atmosphere. Rex, everybody. Chris Shula, please.
Yeah, Chris Shula, I posted something last night about him, being interviewed. He was kind of being showcased last night on the Monday Night Football pregame show, but then he didn't have the greatest game. The Rams gave up a lot of points to the Falcons and didn't look too good, but the Rams secondary is depleted right now. So, look, Chris Shula is a young coach, innovative coach. He's, got Sean McVay's stamp of approval. So I think definitely Chris Shula will be a coach in the upcoming
Lou, we have
future.
a question for you about Halloween. If we do get rid of Daniel, who will you be for Halloween?
I'll think of somebody. Don't worry about it. I always come up with some ideas. So we'll see.
Love to watch the Super Bowl with you in Florida. Sweet Paul, that would be amazing. Super Bowl Sunday in America, you would Super Bowl Sunday in America, you would love it. However, the following Monday, it should be a national holiday, and they haven't implemented that. So stay tuned because we all have to go to work that Monday. Yep. It's criminal here. We have somebody here. Hi there. I'm new to this great channel.
Welcome.
Biggest Lisa 242. Hello. Well,
welcome.
We're excited to have you. Where are you from? Everywhere else in the country, we're learning having a huge cold front. We're holding like 68 degrees. Everyone else is like 24 and like 8. So welcome. We're excited to have you, and drop where you're from in the chat. Yep. All right, guys. So moving on with the show. Last week.
You can do predictions? Put up the preview.
I just had that.
Oh, okay. So put that up a second. So, okay. Guys, in the chat, and again, we've been asking a question every week. We are down to 2 finalists. So it is between Russ. I'm sorry, you're not going to like this, but Kirk and Eddie, Fast Eddie, are our 2 finalists. So I will be reaching out to you guys with a question this week. But what we want to know right now is the Dolphins are going into New England. They are 10.5 point favorites, 10.5 point underdogs, in this game from what I saw last. I want to say that. I'm not sure if that's the last number that I saw or not. But either way, they are big underdogs in this game. It's going to be cold. The Dolphins cannot win in, minus
not even minus, just anything under 60 degrees.
Yeah, I think it was 40. I think the number's 40. Anything under 40, the Dolphins have not won. They're 0 in their last 14. So the Patriots will be playing, obviously. They just came off a thrashing of the New York Jets, and they will be playing for potentially the number 1 seed. So, guys, drop in the chat what you think is going to happen this Sunday in Gillette Stadium.
So for those new, this is where you go in the chat and give us your score prediction. Just curious to know how you think the Dolphins are performing against New England Patriots. Biggest Lisa is from Florida, the home of Disney. Fun fact, we are Disney freakazoids. We are annual pass holders the last 5 years. We love it. We will be there in 3 weeks. If we could go there every day, we would. I'm a huge Epcot girl. You like you're more Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, Magic Kingdom is my favorite. Absolutely.
My favorite ride is Tower of Terror, Little Ratatouille. You like...
I like Soarin'. Soarin's a great ride.
Guy. But yes, we're big Disney people. We're always in Florida. Batman in the house. Good evening to both of you. Fins
Batman.
Up. Batman, good evening to you. Happy 2026. We're almost there.
Yep. So I did pull it up. It is a 10.5 point spread in this game. So,
we got some score predictions here. Okay, so
Spencer says it's 10.5. Yes, you are correct.
Yes. So Moondog drops his prediction. Dolphins 30. Patriots 27. That game will go into OT. Spencer corrected us and said favored by 10.5 points. Sweet Paul says his prediction is 35-14 Fins. What are the standings now?
Kirk, you're up by 2 points. So 1 point. You're up by 1 point. I'll give you your question and both of your questions to both of you guys separately. So yes.
There's a question in the chat for me. Oh, Ashley, what's your favorite sport and why? My favorite sport, I rarely get asked this, only when I'm interviewed on a podcast. My favorite sport is actually baseball. I'm a huge baseball fan. It's my first love. I've been to 19 active ballparks. baseball. I'm a Marlins season ticket holder. I was a Red Sox fan growing up, living in Miami almost for 15, 20 years now. I became a Marlins fan, and I'm just and you did it with the game, the history of it. We were at the Roberto Clemente Museum a few weeks ago.
Baseball's amazing.
Baseball is my absolute favorite sport.
And you are a Red Sox fan in the American League, so
yes, it never goes away. But the Marlins just suckered me.
You could have a National League and American League.
And they don't have many fans down here, so they need my support. So I'm a huge baseball fan.
Miami Mike says that he's sorry. Don't be sorry. You got to be real. Dolphins will lose 34-17. I could see that. Brent says that at 10 points, so 31-21. So, yeah, there you go. And Spencer has a shocker here, a close game. Not shocking victory, but shocking that it's close. 29-19, the Patriots over the Dolphins. And yeah, so you want to give your prediction first?
Wait, I got one more question. What is your favorite stadium? I'll give you my top 3, right? Number 1 is Oracle, San Francisco Giants. We were there a year ago. Totally blew my list out of the water. Definitely Oracle number 1. My number 2 stadium is Fenway. Fenway is just heaven on earth, and Fenway would be number 1 if Oracle didn't take it. And my number 3, I would probably say Dodgers or T-Mobile Park, swaying between both of those. Those are my top 3.
Okay. I got to give you mine now.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going with Oracle. San Francisco Giants is my 3rd best park. The San Diego Padres, Petco Park is number 2.
Yeah. And
number 1 for me is Wrigley. I absolutely love Wrigley Field. So Wrigley Field is my number 1.
4 would be PNC Park for me as well. I have to add that. Shout out to Pittsburgh. Only baseball player I know is Sam Malone.
Sam Malone.
Dodger Stadium.
Not really a player, but yes, sure enough. All right. So
but we have a lot of baseball talk coming up. Trust me, when March and April come, I'm like nonstop at baseball. It is such a big passion of mine. So stay tuned for that.
All right, let's give our predictions. Look, you know I'm a homer. You know I hate the Patriots. I hate the Bills and the Jets as well. I would love for nothing else than for Quinn Ewers to go in there, guns a-blazing, and I really hope he does that and is able to, at least look the part. But I don't see how the Dolphins could win this game. You just saw what the Patriots did to the Jets. They absolutely destroyed them. They did whatever they wanted and more, and then they called the dogs off because it would have been a lot worse than that. So we will see how that goes. But I will say that, with everything on the line for the Patriots, even though, by the way, did you guys see this today? Stephon Diggs.
Oh, it's all allegations right now.
Was okay, yeah, but he was arrested.
He's in trouble right now. But it's all allegations.
Yeah,
he's denying it. So until it's true,
he likely won't play this Sunday, and then they're going to probably need that bye because he won't be able to play the week after that either. So, but look, there's a lot on the line for the Patriots. Just way too much on the line. I think the Patriots win this game going away. I'm going to say 38 to 21.
Okay, so as I give my score prediction, this season has been a rough season. The highlight of my season has been really with you guys. Kirk, who we tailgate with every week, meeting Sweet Paul from England, meeting Jeremy, the Panthers game. So it has been a really, really icky season, a lot of ups and downs. I think we're going to end the season on a low. Unfortunately, I think we are going to get our butts handed to us in Gillette. I think we're going to lose 10-24 this Sunday.
Yes. Look, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, this is a division rivalry game. It's going to be in their, stadium. It's going to be cold out. So it's going to be very difficult for the Dolphins to overcome all those things. And so that's why I thought the prediction would be the way it is.
Okay.
Kirk says, you got one more. Did you put that one?
27-10.
27-10?
He's where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm 24-10. We think Gillette. We're in a Jersey mindset.
All right. Now that that's out of the way, do you want to talk first, or do you want to? Okay, let's get to our. Well, no, let's get to our top stories.
I want to talk hockey so bad.
All right, our top stories of 2025. Here we go. You're the first one. We're gonna pull them up here.
Me. You gotta do one by one. Oh. All right, so let me just give them what's going on. Okay, so Lou and I created a list of the top 10, what we thought was the biggest, impactful moments in South Florida sports in 2025. So we're just going to give you a picture of it, a snippet, and drop your opinion on it as well. So here we go. Number 10, what we have is, all right, number 10. The Fighting Fish surprising 79-83 season. The Marlins are typically the laughstock of baseball down here in Florida. However, joke was on the MLB because they had one of the best, actually not one of the best. they had the best July in all of MLB this year, you know, and that was despite a lot of injuries, especially to our bullpen. And we're a young team, and I'm excited for our future. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so this is number 10. And yeah, look, a lot of people thought that the Marlins were going to lose 100 games. They're coming off a 60-plus win season. So to make this jump, I think it was 19 total games over that they won from the previous year and avoided what many thought would be a 100-loss season. There's Kyle Stowers after he didn't even play the last 25
Even Brent
games
says, go Orioles, you have our player, Kyle Stowers.
So
Kyle
Stowers was a big revelation. Agustin Ramirez, who was big factor in the trade with the Yankees last year.
Offensively, not so much defensively.
Yeah, a lot of the young players really stepped up. So this is story number 10 in South Florida sports.
Vegas Lisa said, Ashley, my brother Joey has been watching sports history on film for 50 years, beginning in 1975. I would love to sit down and have a conversation with him about history of sports.
Yeah. So number 10, the surprising Marlins. That's a number 10 story of 2025. Next up is...
All right, the draft happens in April 2025, and Cam Ward from the University of Miami, to pretty much no surprise, gets drafted pick number 1, round number 1, to the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah, no, he becomes the third player from the University of Miami to be selected number 1 overall. But look, he had a historic season at the University of Miami. Really quarterback you down here. Jim Kelly, Vinny Testaverde, so many great players have played under center for the Hurricanes, but he shattered all those records. And not only does he shatter all those records, then he goes on to become the number 1 pick in the draft. So this was a huge story down here. So this is your number 9 story of the year.
Okay, number 8. This just happened like 2-3 weeks ago. I had a little watch party for this. Inter Miami wins the MLS Cup, and Lionel Messi was named the MVP. Yeah,
so look, this is not one of the top 4 sports in South Florida or in America for the matter. Soccer, football is big everywhere else in the world, but it's still trying to make its case in Miami or in the States, in the United States. But this is the first ever title in the MLS for Inter Miami, and it involved the greatest, probably the greatest soccer player who ever lived when it's all said and done, in Lionel Messi. So just that alone is a big story. And so while not, as big as the top 4, which are the blue blood sports of America, it is still a championship, and you got to celebrate championships. So this is your number 8 story. Inter Miami and Messi win the MLS Cup, champions for the first time.
All right, this also happened that same weekend. So a lot happened in South Florida sports that same weekend. They had Selection Sunday, and the Canes ended up getting the last spot over Notre Dame. And so they went on to play Texas A&M at Kyle Field over in College Station, and they beat the Aggies in a very, very low-scoring game, but they still beat the Aggies. And then we know how this story continues because they play tomorrow in the Cotton Bowl against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Which we're going to get to. So this is an ongoing story but still, the fact that they didn't make the playoff last year, and even though they had Cam Ward, as we just discussed, be the number 1 overall pick, they fell short. And this year they got the revenge. And again, this is an ongoing story. If they win tomorrow, this will probably be a story that goes into 2026 because they'll be 2 wins away from playing for a national championship in their own stadium. So stay tuned. But right now, this is the number 7 story of the year.
All right, number 6. This story was aggravating for me. I covered it a lot in many different avenues.
This was a saga.
This was such drama. Jimmy freaking Butler, the most crybaby, entitled brat who ever played South Florida anything, got his trade, left South Florida, ended up going to Golden State. In return, we got Andrew Wiggins. This happened pretty much right as soon as 2025 started.
Yeah, and this was it was sad because Jimmy Butler took us to 2 NBA finals, won 2 Eastern Conference championships, and had some major performances. We were at the game against the Bucks when they upset the Bucks, who were the number 1 seed as the 8th seed. He had 55 points in that game. Jimmy Butler had a tremendous career down here, but it just ended awfully. And this, again,
such a bad breakup.
This saga went on for a month, and finally Pat Riley pulled the trigger on it, and Butler was traded to the Golden State Warriors.
Yes. So adios, Jimmy Butler.
Right.
All right. So the last half of our top 10 moments in South Florida sports for 2025.
Coming in at number 5.
This one I think a lot of you are going to like. All right, this one, Chris Greer, adios. We get the news that not necessarily fired, but him and the Dolphins ended up parting ways. It kind of was either going to go 3 ways, or so we thought. We either thought it was going to be Chris Greer, McDaniel, or Tua. 1 out of 3 away is probably better than none out of 3. So we did get one of our wishes. Chris Greer is no longer with the Miami Dolphins as our GM. He was with the Dolphins for 20 years, and he is out.
Yeah, this is we're running out of room here. We wanted
they love this one. Hallelujah.
Absolutely.
Christmas came early. I agree on 5.
We wanted to stay with 10, and so we had to lump this one in. This not only is Chris Greer getting let go of his duties as GM after 10 plus seasons and 20 years overall with the organization. It was really the horrible start. The Dolphins' bad start with a 1-6 season, and then right after, we win that game in Atlanta, which we were at, and the very next week, when you think there's momentum, they lay a complete egg on Thursday Night Football, primetime game against the Ravens, and shortly thereafter, the next morning, Chris Greer was let go as general manager. So this is our 5th.
How would Paul say that with the tits?
It's the tits.
It's the tits. Paul, I was thinking how you said everything's a tits. It's a tits. Let it go. It's a tits.
Yeah. So this is our 5th story of the year. It really is a huge story, but our other ones are a little bit, you'll see what they're coming up here. But
all right, this one also is going to make a lot of you happy, maybe some of you mad, depending on which way you swing. This one, here you go. We find out this was 2 weeks ago. Tua gets benched. We find out that the decision to start Quinn Ewers, first of all, that game got flexed. This is the game against the Cincinnati Bengals. It was supposed to be a Sunday night game. They moved it up to a 1 o'clock game. So initially it was supposed to be the Joe Burrow and the Tua Sunday night matchup. Earlier in the week, we find out that it will be the Quinn Ewers and Joe Burrow matchup at 1 o'clock. But however, whatever the case may be, Quinn Ewers did start that game, did not win that game. Quinn Ewers did, and then he ended up winning last week against the Bucks. Yeah,
and so this is him right in the middle of the Steelers game here, and we were at that game as well. So
froze our tits off.
We froze our tits off. We saw what looks like to be Tua's last throw and last start as a Dolphin, because I just don't see any way possible that he could come back. And so this is the number 4 story of the year, because not only did he get benched, but he is likely, vacated as Dolphins quarterback. I think they, with Ewers, doing well here in 2 games, and just the fact that they're going to have to move on. I don't think you recover from this. I think Tua, threw his last pass as a Miami Dolphin. And so it's not just the benching, it's the end of his time with Dolphins, in my opinion. So that's why it's the number 4 story of the year.
Brent said it really well. He said, I'm not happy about it because you did lead us to a playoff, but it is what it is. Great guy, but he's done in Miami. That's spot on. Yeah. Okay, the next one's very interesting because this day, I remember it perfectly. It was in the summer, and a new Whole Foods just opened up downtown, and I was all about going to the grand opening, and I was dragging you to because I'm like, hey, new grocery store. And we were listening to on the radio, and before I get any more into it, it was the day, I'm getting there, it was the day that the Florida Panthers ended up signing the Holy Trinity, the 3, all back to the Florida Panthers. So that was Sam Bennett, Aaron Eckblad, and Brad Marchand, all re-signed to be Florida Panthers, continuing on, extending their contracts. We did end up going to the grocery store, but we did not buy much because we were just so excited.
We couldn't believe this.
I think all we got was pita bread that day.
Yeah, this all broke, the same day, and so a lot of people,
Prince laughing at us.
A lot of people thought, well, maybe if they get one guy back, and a lot of people identified the guy they couldn't give up was Sam Bennett. Nobody thought Brad Marchand would come back. They're like, no, he's going to get his money. There's no way. And then Eckblad was also a candidate to leave. So they got all 3. They kept all 3 players together. And this is kind of weird because you'll see our top 2 moments. This is more like a Back to the Future pick here because it's an important moment, more so the future. And you'll see what we're talking about here. But
I mean, all 3 of these guys are just aces. I love Sam Bennett more off the ice than I do on the ice. He does so much for the community. When it comes to animals, he loves cats. Brad Marchand is just one of the goats of goats. Aaron Eckblad is just such a leader. These guys are such staples for the Florida Panthers.
And they are locked up for 7+ years, all of them.
They ain't going anywhere.
So they're going to have multiple chances at titles.
All right. There was a monster trade. So I also remember where I was going. I was driving home from work. I was on the highway. My boss texted me and said, Ash, emergency. I'm thinking, my goodness, what is happening at the church? The next text said, we just got Brad Marchand. I said, what? Brad Marchand is no longer a Boston Bruin, makes his way down South 95 and becomes a Florida Panther.
Yeah,
after a long career with the Boston Bruins.
And just before that, this did not happen the same day, but just before that, the Panthers made a difficult decision in trading their backup goalie, Spencer Knight, beloved Spencer Knight, trading him to Chicago for defensive Seth Jones. And here's why this is kind of weird that we just showed, the Panthers locking them up as a number 3 moment, and this is the number 2 moment. And the reason is the Panthers do not repeat as champions if this move isn't made.
Agreed.
Brad Marchand won the championship for the Panthers last year. He won that Stanley Cup. They do not win the Stanley Cup without Brad Marchand's play. And Seth Jones was just as big as part of that as well. So these two guys in this trade by Bill Zito, bringing these two guys in, just changed, the title odds, everything, and gave the Panthers the opportunity to repeat. So that is your number 2.
Okay,
moment.
so guys, before we get to number 1, in the chat, I'll give you 15 seconds. What do you think is the number 1 moment?
Come on.
No, let them.
I think we're setting it up.
I know, but I like for them to. I like for them to interact.
Okay.
So,
obviously.
Maybe okay. What do you think we pick? But also maybe in your opinion, number 1, South Florida. Okay, go here, fine, Lou. Fine, you got it. Okay, here, guys. Sorry, I'm sorry. Here.
So all
there
that.
You go, Lou. There. Go ahead there.
All that leads up to the fact that because of those.
Okay, look, Richmond Webb. See.
Because of those trades, the Panthers ended up winning the championship. And so the number 1 story.
Look, somebody said the U. Someone said Richmond Webb. It's not your world.
We did all that.
We'll see. I wanted them to guess.
The U is an ongoing story. That depends on what happens tomorrow night. But the number 1 story in South Florida sports in 2025 was the Panthers winning their 2nd Stanley Cup championship in a row. And again, all those moods leading up to it, the trade for Marchand and Seth Jones set the stage for the number 1 moment in South Florida sports this year, and that's them winning back-to-back titles.
Yes, indeed they did, back-to-back. Hopefully they three-peat, and we can finally be called a legacy, because that's such a funny word that, legacy, they want 3.
Dynasty. Yeah.
Dynasty, legacy.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
We've discussed this on previous shows as well. In order to be considered a dynasty, I don't think the Heat, who won 2 championships in 4 years and went back-to-back, are a dynasty. I think they're a nice team, a really good team, a great team even. But in order to be a dynasty, in my opinion, it's, everybody will say this as well. You need that 3rd one. You need 3 in a 4 or 5, even a 6-year span with that core group. And I think that the Panthers, if they can get the one this year, the 3rd one, that would be beyond amazing. But they're set up nicely for the future years to win another Stanley Cup.
All right, so sticking with – okay, so that's our top 10 moments of South Florida sports. Obviously, there was a lot more moments. One honorable mention was in July with the MLB trade deadline. Sandy Alcantara he is my favorite baseball player, and there was a lot of rumors going around that he may get traded. That day was one of the worst days of the year for me because I was so glued to my phone and to the TV, and I remember waiting until 4 or 5 o'clock till the trade deadline. But Sandy ended up staying with the Marlins. So that was just a glorious day in Miami that we did not lose our ace pitcher.
Yeah, no doubt. And another one that was on our mention that we were thinking about was Eric Spoelstra. Eric Spoelstra got his 800th win earlier this year. He was also named the head coach for USA Basketball, so that's a big deal. But Eric Spoelstra, at just 55 years old, is 3rd all-time on the active –
so great.
3rd on the active coaching list behind Doc Rivers and Rick Carlisle. But he's 10 years younger than both those guys. So who knows how many wins Spoelstra will have when it's all said and done.
Brent, Ash is a Jersey girl. Indeed, she is a Jersey girl. Can never take it out of me. And then, of course, another honorary one, not South Florida, but his Dodgers. Miami Mike's Dodgers are back-to-back as well.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. That's definitely a dynasty.
Yeah, and that was a tremendous story, too. Speaking about stories of 2025 in general in the sports world, the Dodgers became the first National League team to repeat since the Cincinnati Reds. So that's a big deal. And, hey, they could, like you said, they could do it again.
Ash needs to let Lou shovel some snow. Brett, he wouldn't even know the first thing about shoveling snow.
No.
That would be a big no-no. All right, so staying with the talk of hockey, as you guys can see, I am wearing a new jersey, right? This week is the Winter Classic on Friday. We have been anticipating this for months. I actually looked. We had a pre-sale for our tickets for being Miami Marlins season ticket holders. We bought these tickets back in April. We bought these tickets so long ago. We have been waiting for this for a very, very long time. So this will be this Friday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This game is being played at Lone Depot Park. Lone Depot Park is the home to Miami Marlins. So they have converted our home baseball stadium into a hockey arena. They have dropped the temperature to 50 degrees. So it is truly chilly in there to replicate the feeling of being in a hockey arena. The Florida Panthers will take on the New York Rangers. The New York Rangers have special jerseys that they are wearing as well. The Panthers are wearing these. We have this is the patch that they're wearing, the Winter Classic. My jersey also has, oh, there it is, perfect. So this is the patch, Winter Classic. I'm wearing a Matthew Tkachuk jersey, although he's probably not going to be playing. And it has the date engraved in the back. And so just a cool jersey. Really excited to wear it this week. And just really looking forward to the game. There will be tons of Rangers fans in attendance. First of all, half of them already live down here. And the other half just want to get out of the cold.
Right.
But here's the thing, like tickets were not cheap. And they are not dropping. The tickets are holding their value. So it's a very high-priced ticket this week. It's a hot ticket in Miami. But it's going to be fantastic. So, guys, Friday night, 8 o'clock. Definitely watch it. The NHL Winter Classic. The Florida Panthers take on the New York Rangers.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a big deal. They separated. I think they released it. I wish I would have known because it looks like the left field area is going to be like all sand, and then the right field will be all snow.
It's gonna be wild.
And that's where the Rangers will be, and the Panthers will be on the sandy side. But no, to see a hockey game at a baseball stadium in sunny Florida in December, I never thought I'd see that. So it's a true testament to, again, what the Panthers have been doing the last several years and what they're going to be doing in the future.
So, as I mentioned before, 2020, Lisa's favorite moment was Shohei Ohtani going 50-50 in an amazing year. Shohei Ohtani is just bionic. He's not even real. He's out of this world. Brett says, Miami holding the Winter Classic is just insane. I agree as well. Dennis said he went to the Pens versus Bruins at Fenway Park. They didn't need to bring in the cold because it was already cold. Everyone will look like Eskimos there. We sure will. Erica says, it's 50 chilly. I'm sitting outside. It's 37 where I am. I miss living in Florida. 50 were the wrong people to ask because we were just in Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago where it was like 8 degrees. So 50 is not chilly in my terms because we literally froze and got frostbite. But the average Floridian will tell you 50 is chilly. I'm born and raised up north. 50 is my favorite weather. Tomorrow I will be in a sports bra and yoga pants going for a 5-mile walk. Like 50 is my favorite weather.
Absolutely.
50 degrees is still short weather. I agree with you. Joey loves Disney and the NHL sometimes at the same time. Joey is perfect. Yeah. Joey is perfect.
All right, so let's wrap this up with the big game, the final game of 2025 here, and that's the Miami Hurricanes. I mean, this is a monster game tomorrow night against the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Cotton Bowl in Dallas
is taking place in Jerry's World in Cotton Bowl in Texas. The Hurricanes are the number 10 seed. Ohio State is the number 2 seed. Canes are 11-2 on the year. The Ohio State Buckeyes are 12-1. The Buckeyes are currently 9.5-point favorites in this game. As you mentioned earlier in the show, the Hurricanes are coming off a win against the Texas A&M Aggies, a 10-3 win, a defensive battle in Kyle Field, over 100,000 people in that stadium. So they were well tested last week. Problem is here, you got Ohio State, which is a juggernaut. They are the defending national champions. So this will be a very, very, very big test for the Hurricanes.
It's going to be very, very, very tough for them to win this game. Ohio State fans will travel. Canes fans are going to travel. Your brother's going. We know a lot of people who are going. But obviously we are a Canes household here for college football. So we are hoping that the Canes pull off the victory. Speaking of, let's talk a little more into the college football bracket. Here are the games. So the only game tomorrow, New Year's Eve, is the Miami-Ohio State game. Kickoff is slated to be around 7:30 p.m. And that game will probably ending, if on time, closer to midnight as the ball drops.
Yeah,
then on New Year's Day, you have a slate of 3 awesome games. You have Alabama and Indiana in the Rose Bowl, right? So that the Rose Bowl has the parade, great festivities. Alabama's fans will travel. Indiana Hoosiers, that's Francisco Mendoza. So that's a big match. I said Francisco. Fernando Mendoza. Heisman Trophy. And then you also have Oregon and Texas Tech. That game will be played here
in the Orange Bowl. That's
Yes.
right, at Hard Rock Stadium. So, yeah, no, those are your matchups. And, of course, again, the big one that we're looking at is Miami and Ohio State. As mentioned, Miami is a 10.5-point underdog in this game. I'm sorry, 9.5-point underdog. 10.5 is Dolphins and Patriots. But 9.5 point. But look, I believe that the Hurricanes, what they did against Texas A&M might be a preview as to what they could do here in the Cotton Bowl, because Ohio State's only loss of the year was to Indiana. That was also a defensive battle. Indiana ended up winning that game 13-10, which shows you that, hey, if the defense could come up to play and limit their offense, this is a game that the Hurricanes could kind of win. So, in my opinion, hopefully what Mario Cristobal has been doing here is looking at that Indiana-Ohio State game in the Big Ten Championship and trying to mimic what Indiana did in that game, limiting Ohio State's chances to score and, putting points on the board however they can. And hopefully it's a defensive struggle and the Hurricanes to come out on top. It's going to be very difficult, though. I do want to mention something that they'll have on their mind. Go back to the images there.
Yeah.
Got to tell you about the payback, aspect of this. Back in the 2003 Fiesta Bowl. Go back. 2003 Fiesta Bowl, Hurricanes and Buckeyes. And the image.
I don't have it up yet.
Going back to the 2003 Fiesta Bowl and the infamous, call in the end zone where the Hurricanes were winning that game 24-17. And if you see there to your left, the Hurricane defensive backs are celebrating in the end zone because the game was over. However, if you see in the far right, the referee throws the yellow flag, or you see in front of you there, and signals pass interference in like 45 seconds after the play was over. Again, if you look at all the reporters, all the cameramen, the Hurricanes, everybody's celebrating, and that flag came out super late. And if not for that flag, this was in the championship game, the Hurricanes would have won their 6th national championship. So there is a payback aspect to it. Now, all these players were 2 or 3 years old, if they were even alive at this, during this game. But still, the tradition runs deep. The players run, the alumni. Michael Irving is a good example that will, definitely let the locker room and those young kids know about the history of this game. And hopefully that's motivation. That Canes team, by the way, had 10 future first-round picks in the NFL draft. One of the most loaded teams in college football history. And unfortunately, because of this flag, they were denied a championship. So hopefully that's a little bit of motivation, and the Hurricanes can finally get some payback.
Yes. So I want to highlight a sweet comment that came through a little bit ago from Sweet Paul. My favorite moment this year can only be meeting you and Lewis and a certain Mr. Webb. Paul, one of my favorite moments of 2025, totally non-sport related, was also meeting you, and you came over from England. And then my second most favorite was your Christmas gift that I'm looking at right now. It's by beautiful Christmas candles. So sending you so much love, Paul.
Yeah. And so, Lisa says that it won't the traditional Rose Bowl game, but no doubt. The Rose Bowl is one of the great traditions in college football. And McGahee's injury in that game, Brent, definitely affected the outcome there as well. So we shall see what happens tomorrow night, but we will be watching. I know many people will be. It's the only college football playoff game of the night, so it'll be get a big draw out there. So we shall see.
Perfect, guys. Well, that's what we have going on. There's a lot. My tagline is there's a lot going on in South Florida sports. There's just a lot going on in sports in general this week. Last week of NFL regular season play is this week. Those who move on will move on, and those who won't will be sitting home. And that
like the Dolphins.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, but listen, guys, we want to wish you a happy New Year. Hope everything that didn't go your way this past year goes your way the way you'd want it to be in the upcoming year. Above all, wishing you good health and happiness. And I guess for the last time this year, we'll say goodbye, and we'll see you at some point in the new year.
Yes, guys, happy New Year. Now in the UK, love this, both you. XXX, sending you love as well, Brent. See you all next year. See you next year as well. All right, guys. Get your rest now. Go to sleep early. Mike, to you as well. Happy New Year to both of you. Get rest tonight. Tomorrow, you get to stay up till midnight. So catch you later.
Good night, guys.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. See you next year.